Welcome once again to Master Change Sales. My name is Joseph Power. Whoa. Today, we're going to talk about a scarcity mindset. What is it all about? Imagine yourself walking through a forest, a thick forest. Everything seems to be okay. And you're actually enjoying yourself taking a stroll within the forest. Then all of a sudden, you step on it would be more or less harmful stretch of leaves, which are looking so nice. Then all of a sudden you find yourself into a pit. Now the earth looks round through a hole of light. What comes into your mind in the first place? Sure, the first thing you will think of is how do I get here? How do I get out of this place? And yet, when you are running, you did not crash land. Sure, it means all your faculties within the body, they're still okay. But you are damn worried that how do I get here? And yet, you have all the energies. What comes to your mind immediately is, I'm done. This is at the middle of the forest. Even if I shout, no one's going to hear me, which means that's it. I'm in the hole. I've just to wait for my fate. This is all what is scarcity mindset. The story that you have just listened to is the scarcity mindset. Now, let's define what this scarcity is. Now, you find that scarcity as a word actually is the gap between the limited resources and the unlimited ones. Everyone wants to have a car, everyone have whatever, unlimited, but there are only X resources to cover this. So basically, that's what the scarcity is all about. Now, in terms of economics, I'm afraid they are saying scarcity is the limitation of resources or the perception that resources are inefficient to meet the human needs and wants. That's how economists would define it. While the first definition is our day-to-day life. Whether you've done economics, whether you know economics or whatever, there will always be limited resources against unlimited ones. That's what scarcity is. Now, a mindset, therefore, scarcity mindset, therefore, is an obsession. We are so obsessed as human beings that there is always not enough to take care of us. And yet, there is always enough for everyone. So it's this obsession that sometimes makes us to be very stagnant in our growth. No matter how hard we try, but because we're obsessed, everything becomes the same. We can work very hard, we can study very hard, and we'll figure, well, we're not intelligent enough to get a degree. We're not intelligent enough to learn skills A. We're not, it's always we're not. So there's a lot of negativity going on, and this negativity is one that causes obsession. We're so obsessed with whatever is there. Now, what are the causes? There may be quite a number of causes, but I tried to pick 4 of them because I think these are common. These are childhood experiences. We are what we are based on where we're coming from. Now, if a child goes in a home where there's always, or he's always told that there's not enough to take care of this, there's not enough to take care of this, he or she grows out to say there is not enough. Or, well, we are so poor that we cannot even afford your school fees. Even if a neighbor within the neighborhood is able to send his or her children to that school, even if they are much poorer than us. So it's like we don't appreciate what we have. So we have grown in an area where abundance is never appreciated. Then inherited patterns. These are patterns that we have inherited from wherever we're coming from. We may be coming from a good family where at the top of everything flows, but because we are said they are not enough, then even if you go out and you have a lot and people see you that there's a lot there within you, but you still say there's not enough. And I think this is what maybe all of us who have gone to, even if you have an undergraduate and people are actually doing a lot with their first degrees, but because you feel, no, unless I get a master's, I'll have, unless I get a PhD. So there's always that feeling that wherever you are is not enough. Of course, for the sake of improvement, maybe sometimes you say I have to advance, but you need to advance based on the abundance, on the positivity, not on the negativity. Because even if you take up, you go up to doctorate, but if your mind is scarce, or you think you're so obsessed with scarcity, then nothing's going to happen. Believe you me. Then past trauma. Traumas can be so impactful at the end of the day. A child who has been abused will never trust anyone. A child who was always told that you cannot do this. X was referred and you cannot do this. That's a trauma that will stick out in the children, and that affects you at the end of the day. Then there's society influences. These society influences like the classes of people, those that have done community development or even economics. There's always a class of people, the well-to-do and the poor, the nobles and the commoners. These type of social gaps, people who are within that gap, they will believe that that's how they are. Even if you have the capacity to move from the commoner to the noble, but the boss is so obsessed with that, they will stick there and they will remain there because they just want to have that status quo. So these are the causes that I picked of the many. Then what are the signs? The first sign is that there will always be pessimists, people who always doubt that things can happen, even when there's something positive. Remember, Chinua Achebe once said that there's always an opportunity for a tragedy. However, when people look at, anyway, it may be a very bad example, but that's a reality. There are floods in area A. People look at it that they have suffered, which is okay. But within that group, you find that they'll say, okay, fine, these are the floods, they are gone. They have left fertile land. We'll go there and plant, do some farming. So that's positivity out of it. While people are with a pessimistic mind, they'll say, well, this was our land, it's gone, and it means we're dead. So there will always be that negativity in the people. Then they will have trouble in prioritizing issues. People who have scarcity mindset, they will be very hard. It will be very hard for them to prioritize issues. They'll always go for short-term issues rather than long-term issues. And the issue of jealousy. Of course, jealousy comes in different forms and for different reasons. But one of it is the scarcity mindset. A colleague works very hard and gets promotion. We are not working hard. We start saying, no, why has he got the promotion? We are all the same. We all have the master's degree. Why him? We have seen people who have gathered together. Now they are directors. And we are still at the professional level within the government grade. Why? You find that person is a hard worker, no matter what. And he's always positive, even out of the negative situation. And this is what people, most officers or executive officers, that's why we are told, are you able to work under pressure? How to trust people. One time I was actually talking to a young man, and in one of our conversation, he said, "I don't trust anyone." So I said, "Why did you come to me in the first place?" Because if you don't trust anyone, it means you are me as well as you have come to me, so you don't even trust me. So it's of no use me going ahead with my presentation if you don't trust me. So what I told him, I said, first of all, you need to go and trust yourself. Once you start trusting yourself, then you trust others. So this scarcity mindset will actually have that connotation, not trusting others. Then overscheduling ourselves. We will tend to overschedule ourselves. Of course, it's good to be a multitasking person, but we need to have time management issues. So people have with a scarcity mindset, it becomes very hard for them to start trusting, to prioritize issues or to manage their own time. What are the effects? The first effect, science says, it lowers IQ. Because you are always in the negative, you are stuck. Therefore, you cannot add anything. Once you don't add anything, it means your mind is where it was 10 years ago. So your IQ is that's where it is. Where your friends, because they are positive, they are adding up their own knowledge. Ability to solve problems. Once your IQ is lower, surely you'll not be able to solve problems. It goes hand in hand, not always about it. Then it also reduces your ability to empathize with people. You don't feel sorry for people. If they fail, they fail. That's our business. But people who don't have the culture mindset, they'll always be very more than willing to assist others. And it because of these three, lowers your IQ, ability to not solve problems, and reduces your ability to empathize with people, then it means you are not growing. Because we grow because we are sharing knowledge, we are empathizing with people, and we have an ability to solve problems. That's when we grow. Remember, out of every storm, you need to come out clear. And you need to come out much, much stronger than ever before. How do we overcome it? The first thing we need to do is let us all accept the situation. Because that's your starting point. Once you accept it without looking overboard, you say, okay, this is the situation I'm in. How can I get myself out of this thing? Then you start looking at resources that you have around you. Once you realize those resources, which means you are focusing on what you have, then you start growing. Then you start appreciating that, okay, I have A, B, C, D. For example, we may be saying, I don't have food, but you have shelter. Once you have the shelter, it means one problem is solved. Then you need to look at issues of food. One time I was also I talk a lot with these young people, and one thing they have always told me is jobs are scarce. And I agree 100%. And no nation in the world can claim that it's providing jobs to its citizens 100%. No. But they are preventing, some countries we are developing, they are giving an environment that people can prosper. So I said to this group of young people, I said, what do you have now? Then everyone was like blank. Then I said, how many have cell phones here? The whole crowd laughed. I said, why are you laughing? I said, because everybody has their phone. I said, yeah, so that's the resource you have as of now. So make use of that to prepare yourself. Then, of course, there were other questions. I said, well, those other questions, I think they are present for another day. So we'll do that as we move along with the series. Then we need also to surround ourselves with positive people. There's a lot of negativity flying around, and it's causing a lot of mental health issues among young people, among across the board. You cannot say that mind health issues are only with young people, but for everyone. Why? Because we're all surrounded by people who are negative. Let's jump out of the arena and have people who can actually assist us to do things better. Then try to look for possibilities. If you have a house, it means that that problem is out. If we go back to that example I gave, walking in the forest, first of all, you need to check yourself. Am I hurt as I fall? Once you are, if you discover that you're not hurt, it means you have all your faculties intact. Then look around your hole where there's something you can do to pull yourself out. For example, you can create some steps within the hole. Then you pull yourself out. So you need to look at what sources you have, what possibility you have to take you outside that. So that's how you overcome your scarcity mindset. In conclusion, for those you have been following me, you find, man, that a scarcity mindset can be so intense. You can actually be so pressured to the extent that you think that's the end of the world. But sure, it's not. As much as you have such pressure, as much as it's intense, the most important thing you need to focus on is, what do I have now that I can use? Malawi is an agri-based economy. So all of us, we should be able to say, okay, fine, what is it that we have? We have the land. Of course, not all of us can go for farming. But sure, we know that the farmers will need fertilizer, will need chemicals, they will need post-harvest issues, and you have that knowledge. Why don't you go to those farmers and sell your knowledge? So if you have knowledge, it means you have something to start from. Then once that is done, you find yourself that you're actually changing into healthier behaviors. And the whole spectrum looks different once you have a healthier behavior. Thank you very much to have listened. I'm Joseph Moore. See you in the next episode. Thank you.